Dear friend, welcome once again to the channel. As you are aware that we are discussing various doctrine of constitutional interpretation, and in this series today our doctrine is doctrine of pith and substances. So welcome to this video, and let us see what we are going to cover under this doctrine. So first we will understand what is doctrine of pith and substances, and then we will see some leading case law related to this doctrine so that we will understand it better. Pure meaning of doctrine of pith and substance. We need to understand meaning of pith and substance word first, which is true nature and character. Okay, true nature and characters, what does it mean? As you are aware, in Schedule 7 of the Constitution of India, legislative power has been divided between parliament and states. Schedule 1 give power to make law on all the topic in Schedule 1 to central government or parliament, and list 2 gives same power to state government, and list 3 is concurrent list upon which any of the state as well as center can make law under some provisions. This doctrine is specifically apply when the title of the act is within the list. For example, act made on land revenue. Act made on land revenue is in entry 2 and state can make law on that. Okay. Sometime what happen, authority make law as per entry list. However, when they are elaborating different provision in the law of section of the law, they sometimes exceed to the limit of that topic. Okay, and it become a matter of conflict and it is challenged in the court of law sometime, and whether they have really exceeded from their authority or legislation competent or not, the court decide by applying this doctrine of pith and substance. Mere by reading the title of the act, no one can decide whether they have exceeded or not. Okay, so what do then court do? Court read the content of the act very carefully, means true nature and character of the act content, and then they decide whether they have exceeded their competence from the title mentioned of the act or not. Okay, sometime it may happen they have little bit exceeded, some incidental power has also been utilized to completely enact that act. So that is understood and that is acceptable. But again, that can be only judged based upon applying this doctrine of pith and substances. Okay, so let us understand in simple way. When any act is brought before the court and it is challenged that that particular authority had exceeded their legislative competence, then especially Supreme Court see by understanding the text whether they have exceeded or not, and to that they try to understand true nature and character of that content. We will understand some leading cases related to this so that we will get more clarity on this doctrine. So there was one leading case in the beginning, Praful Kumar Mukherjee versus Bank of Commerce Khulna, AIR 1947. In this case, appellant argued that doctrine of pith and substances is not applicable in Indian scenario, and origin of this doctrine is from USA, and in USA there are only two list 1 and list 2. There is no concurrent list or list 3 in American Constitution. So whatever topic are left from list 1 and list 2, Supreme Court of America apply this doctrine of pith and substances, and then they decide who is competent to make law on the topic which are not covered in list 1 and list 2. However, in our case, concurrent list is also available upon which both can make law. In that argument, they say that this doctrine is not applicable. However, Supreme Court rejected that argument and said despite list 3 is available, but topic which may come in future to make law are endless and may not be covered despite concurrent list. And Supreme Court held that doctrine of pith and substances is very well applicable to Constitution of India as well. So you understand that this case law is very important from the point of view of application or a scope of applying this doctrine in Indian scenario. Another case related to this is State of Bombay versus F.N. Balsara. Here what happened, there was one act, Bombay Prohibition Act. In Bombay Prohibition Act 1949, there was some section which were contradicting to the Center Act, and Supreme Court applied the doctrine of pith and substances and held that 8 sections of this Bombay Prohibition Act have exceeded the limit of the state competence and held invalid. Okay, so you understand that how this doctrine of pith and substances are applied and applicable. There was another important case, Owen Mahindra versus Bar Council of India, AIR 1968. In this case, the Advocate Act 1961 was challenged, and it was held that this act is made by central government or parliament. However, it was argued that this is in concurrent list of entry 26 and state is empowered to make law on this topic and not central government or parliament under entry 77 and 78 at union list. Okay. However, court tried to understand the context mentioned in the act and held that true nature and character of the act regarding the qualification, enrollment, and discipline of the advocate fall under the entry 77 and 78, and since the lied made by parliament and it is valid under the doctrine of pith and substance. I am sure by applying this case law and understanding the true nature and character of the act, how the application of doctrine of pith and substance is mentioned, you got clear under these two topics. Thank you very much for remaining with us till end of this video. In case you have further any query or comments, please mark to the comment box. I will be glad to reply. If you feel this video is useful on this doctrine, please like it and share with your other friends to get benefit at their end, and also subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much again.